In this video I will explain how to use the Digital Pāḷi Reader made by Venerable Yuttadhammo. So this video is part of a series of tutorials that I made especially for my fellow students here at the ITBMU Buddhist University in Yangon. I have made some other videos where I explained how to install all these different softwares. I made one for Mac and one for Windows. And there are also other videos for several tipitaka apps and resources for usage on Android devices and iOS devices. And so in this video I will be focusing on explaining how to use this Digital Pāḷi Reader. There's also another video where I explain all the other software. That also takes some time. But in this video I will just be explaining the Digital Pāḷi Reader. So to follow this video you're also expected to have it already installed, and some of you might have already installed this by themselves, but they may not have the translations. So in my installation in my tutorial I explained how to add these translations. So if you don't have that, you can check that video. There will be a link to all the videos in the description below this video. Okay, so let's start with the navigation. One thing here, maybe before we start, in the previous tutorial for the other softwares, I have explained that I mentioned that the Digital Pāḷi Reader at this moment does not include the entire Chatta Sanghayana. So for the Anya section there's just the Visuddhimagga, Abhidhamma, Sangha and some Pali grammars. But I'm in touch right now with Bhante Yuttadhammo, and we are working on including the entire Chatta Sanghayana in this Digital Pāḷi Reader. So there might be an updated version at some point. If so, I will inform you. And also Bhante Yuttadhammo told me that he's working on a new version of this, so this might change in future, but right now I will be focusing on explaining this version of the Digital Pāḷi Reader. Okay, so let's start with the explanation. So we start here with navigation. So yeah, you can see here that there are 3 different tabs, and this one is for the navigation. So here first you have the different pitakas and the nikayas of the Sutta Pitaka, and then here you have the books of each. So if we go on Digha Nikaya, then number 1, here you can see the name, Silakandavagga Pāḷi, number 2 will be Mahavagga Pāḷi and Patikavagga Pāḷi. So here you can see M-A-T, M stands for Mula, that means the Pāli, Atthakatha and Tika. So here you can also navigate in the Atthakathas and Tikas. Then you can have here different options for how to navigate. So if you press on this name of the book, then if you just put your mouse there you can see view index for this book. So by pressing here it gives you a list of all the suttas. You can see Ramajala Sutta and so on, including the subsections. So all the subsections of the Samanyapala Sutta, etc. gives you a complete list of the suttas contained in the Silakandavagga Pāḷi, and then you can click on the respective sutta or the respective paragraph, and it will lead you there. Another thing here, if you click here, then it says combine all subsections. So what this means is that it combines all the suttas of the Silakandavagga Pāḷi in one page, and so here you have the entire book in one page. Then the next thing is here you can choose which sutta you want of this book. So if we take the Samanyapala Sutta, then we can again have 2 different options. Here we can combine all subsections, so then we have the entire Samanyapala Sutta in one page. And here we can go in further detail, so we can go to whatever paragraph we want, let's say Paramajjhana, and then with this arrow it takes us directly to that paragraph. So one thing is that if you view the paragraph, respective paragraph, then you have many options here. If you choose the whole sutta, then there are not all the options included here. So that's why now I will focus on how to navigate in a single paragraph so that you can see all the options. Okay, so basically if you are in the paragraph, then you can see here, you can use these arrows to go to the next paragraph, and you can use this one to open in the books index again. And then here we have again MAT, so you can switch directly to the Atikata of this paragraph, directly to the Tika of this paragraph. Then this one is Myanmar tipitaka and this one is Thai tipitaka. So this is for research purposes. Some might be interested in slight differences of the Myanmar Pitakas and the Thai Pitaka. Then here is you can bookmark this one. So if you let's make a bookmark for Paribhajika Gatha. So we can give it a name. And then later here in the tools, bookmarks, we will find it again, and then we can just click on it and it goes back there. Okay, next one, let's have a look at this one, quick link. So quick link means you can click on this question mark, it gives you an explanation. So you have to understand these letters. So DN means Digha Nikaya, MN means Majjhima Nikaya, and then there are all these abbreviations for the books of the Khuddaka Nikaya. So another detail here, DHP stands for Dhammapada, and it will bring you to the books of the Dhammapada. If you use DHPV, that stands for verse, so then you can go to specific verses of the Dhammapada. Then Jataka is also a similar approach. So let's say, for example, I want to go to the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Then I can go to Digha Nikaya 22nd Sutta of the Digha Nikaya is the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, and it brings me to the first paragraph of this one. Also, for let's say, for example, Samyutta Nikaya, sometimes so for example 42 is the Gamini Samyutta, and then .10, that will bring us to Manichulaka Sutta. So for these, obviously you need to know the numbering of the suttas, but actually this is a much nicer way for navigating than such things as page numbers of different Pitaka versions, which are always different and which don't really tell you anything about the place of the sutta. Okay, but so just to explain you, I will also show how to navigate by page numbers. So because here at the university the professors usually they give references in page numbers. So let's say we are here, and so for this, in the preferences, you need to have activated this one, page numbers. And then you can see here an M stands for Myanmar, P for PTS. There will also be P, PTS, T stands for Thai, and V stands for VRI. So they have all different numberings, and in this way you can see the page of this paragraph if you have to give a reference. And how to navigate by page number is the following. So you need to use the search, and then you select whichever Nikaya or Pitaka you want to search. So let's unselect everything. Let's say we want to know in the Samyutta Nikaya Myanmar version, then we have to search in the following way. So we press M for Myanmar Tipitaka. Then let's say volume number 2, and then a dot, and then let's say page number 250. So for the page number you always need to give 4 digits. So in order to make 250 into 4 digits, we say 0250. So now that is the 250, and we just add 0. So if it's page number 75, then it will be 0075. Okay, and then we just go there, and it directly brings us to this place, and then here on the arrow we can open the search result. Okay, let's go back to the navigation. So for example, now maybe you found something, but you don't really know where you are. Maybe you don't understand the names, or you don't know where you are. So in order to have it clear in terms of navigation, you can use here another function, this one, copy place to sidebar. So now you will see, if I click it here, everything will change, and it will choose this sutta. I click on it, and now it has changed everything, Samyutta Nikaya, book number 3, and so on. It brings us directly to this Pindolya Sutta right here. So this is also sometimes helpful. Another thing here, you can copy the link for this sutta, or for example here you can copy the paragraphs of the link to the paragraph to the clipboard, in case you want to save them in a file where you have to gather some informations for later search. So later you can just open a tab and you can paste this, and it will open directly this paragraph which I just copied. Another thing, as I already explained, here you can find the translations. So if you just click on it, for some of the suttas you might get more than one translation. So here you can see different kinds of translations. This is for access to insight translations, and these are the ones by Wisdom Publications. Okay, so I think that's all as far as navigation goes. So let's have a look at the search. So here, for example, another thing, if you're searching by navigating with the page numbers, so for the Vinaya, for example, there are no volumes, right? So in the Vinaya, here you can choose single books of a pitaka. So here you can select, for example, Parajika Pāḷi, and the Parajika Pāḷi in the Myanmar version is just one book, so it's not there's no volumes. And Bhikkhuni Vibhanga in the Myanmar Pitaka books is included in the Pāchitya Pāli. So you have to know this if you want to know something from here, or give like a reference for the Bhikkhuni Vibhanga, then it will be Pāchitya Pāli in the Myanmar version. So how to write it? Make a search here is M and then volume just 0, and then any kind of page number, and it will bring you to the Parajika Pāli page number 89. Okay, so other kinds of search, let's have a look. You can select here different Nikayas wherever you want to make a search, and then you can just search and it will give you the different results wherever you find this word. It will also, only one note here, it will give you only one result per paragraph. So here in this paragraph you can see that there is here one result and one result here. So if you open this, there might also be, yes, so if you open this you can see there are two results in this paragraph, but it counts it only as one search result, but then it highlights the different places. So another thing here for the usage you should know is that if you press on this arrow, it will open in this first tab. So if in this first tab you're at the moment reading something, and then you want to make a search and you don't want to lose this, So what you need to do is you need to open it in another tab, and to do that you can either, if you are using a mouse, you can click the mouse wheel. So just clicking on the mouse wheel, it will open in another tab. If you don't have a mouse, you can press the Control key and click with your mouse pad. So you just control and click on this arrow, and it will open in another tab. And then in this way, you can also open many different results at the same time. If you want to open this in a separate window, or like, let's say, side by side, then you can drag this, in this way you just drag it away from there, and then it opens in another window, and then you can put the other window side by side, just like this. And you can, by removing this one, it will show completely. Right now it doesn't show fully, so you have to remove this, and to get it back you just press here, and then you get it back, this one. On a Mac it's the same process. You just hold the Control key and click on the arrow, and it opens in another tab. And then to open the tab in another window, you just hold and drag it down. Then you have two windows, and to see them side by side, what you have to do is long press this green button, and then you can select in which corner of the screen you want to put it. Then you release, and it gives you the options what you want to open in the other half, and then you can read side by side in this way. And to make it as it was before, you have to select both separately and make them small again, and then you're back here. Okay, so for the search you have also different options here. You can explore them by yourself. You can select single books of one pitaka, or you can select even just a small part. So let's say in the Parajika Kanda, whatever one you select here, that will be where the search will happen. Okay, so I think that's all for the search. Here what you can see is it gives you a history of what you had searched, and that is sometimes helpful to reproduce a search. Then let's go back to the text. So for example, now you have opened this and you want to see what are the tools that you can use here. So if you are reading any kind of word, you click on the word. Here it will open a translation. So it will give several things. Now in the tools you can see dictionary. The DPR analysis, that is the one which appears here, which includes the PED, Pali English Dictionary of the PTS, that is this one, the detailed one. It also includes the concise Pali English Dictionary, which is here, just a short translation. And it also includes the dictionary of Pali proper names. I'll come to that in a moment. So what you can see here is that sometimes it gives you two different translations. So for example, Bhasati with the root bhash, Sanskrit root bhash, it means to speak. And then another meaning of Bhasati with the root bhas is to shine. So here sometimes there are different numbers, and these are for the different translations. Then in the case of, you see this N here, this indicates the dictionary of Pali proper names. So first you have here the translation, PDS translation. If you click on the N, you will get to the Pali proper names dictionary. So then you can see this is just a collection of names found in the suttas or found in the pitakas and collected here. So there was a an astrologer whose name was Sangha, or another meaning Sangha. There was like the wife of King Manavamma, her name was Sangha. So this is just some example. Then the next tool here you can see is this little C right here. So if you click on it, it will conjugate. So in the case of nouns, obviously it gives you a declension. It tells you what kind of a noun it is and gives you a translation as well. And then you have the whole declension table. So in the case of verbs, obviously it will give you the conjugation. It also tells you the root and conjugational sign, and then it gives you all the different tenses and the conjugation table for them. So for this kind of conjugation, this is sometimes helpful to have like a quick conjugation just right here while you're reading. Another option, if you have followed the full instructions for installing, then you have also this Pali declension tool right here. So what you can do is using Alt and Tab, you can quickly switch between different softwares. On a Mac, to switch between two different applications, you use the Command and Tab. So Command and Tab, and if you hold your Command key, you can tab and select any kind of application you want. So in this way, we can change between the Chrome browser and Digital Pāḷi Reader. If you have two windows open of the same application, so how to switch between them is you use the Command key and the accent key. So the accent or wave key if you have an English keyboard, it will be in the upper left corner of your keyboard. So Command and wave. Now you can see it switches between the two windows of the same application. Both are Chrome. And Command Tab to go back here. And here the thing is that you have somewhat more comprehensive. So for example, this one, Bhasanta, it's a little bit more smart for some reason, this kind of software. Even though it's based on the same thing, it's a little smarter. It also gives you like the present participle for this word. And here you have also Chinese translation and many of the English translations here again as well. So sometimes this might be a little more handy to just use this declension tool than the inbuilt one. But another function, another way to get here is by going here. So for example, this one is dictionary. Then here we have conversion, we have some other tools. So let's just go to the conjugation quickly. Here you can also insert any word and it will give you the declension or conjugation. Right, so sometimes if there is like a compound word, then what you will see is it's by itself, it separates the compound, and then by putting your mouse on the different words, it will give you the different translation here, and clicking on it, it will give you the different translations right here. Sometimes this separation of the compound is not correct, so in that case you can choose here different kinds of ways to separate the word or to have more detailed analysis of the word. Okay, so let's go down here, conversion. So this again, this inbuilt conversion tool you can use. You can just copy something and then you can convert to other scripts. So here you can convert to any kind of different script. But if you have followed my instruction video, then this one will also be mostly obsolete because I find here the Pali script converter of the Tipitaka app is more comprehensive. It gives some more options. So here you also have the possibility to convert this in many more kind of scripts. But what this one has, and which is also helpful, is to transliterate from Welti's system into Unicode and backwards. So that is sometimes helpful. If you have some kind of weird text in Welti's system, then you can transfer it into Unicode system. So the next one here, the text pad. So the text pad is in order to have a clean text if you want to give a quote. So for example, this paragraph now, you can see that there are many such things here which shouldn't be there if you want to make a quote. So if you just copy this to somewhere, then you have all these ugly things here which are not supposed to be there. So in order to have a clean text, you have this tool here, export, which will send this to the text pad, the whole paragraph, and then you can see now it's clean, and now you can copy it from here. Or also, if you wanted to transfer this into MirmaScript, then it's better to do this first, to export it into the text pad, and then, because now you can see it will also transliterate all these MVPT here. So now it will be the clean version. Next one, translation. So here you can also use a translation function for sentences. So for example, by translate, you get the whole sentence translated. If you go word by word, then it evam das me mai sutang learning. It translates word by word. Obviously, for complex sentences, it's cannot be that smart, but sometimes it can be. It's a funny tool. So conjugation I already explained, and then Buddha Vachana is just a daily kind of sutta quote, and then you also have the link, and you can go directly to that text if you find it inspiring and wanted to know the context. Alright, so here in these tools, also by the way, the dictionary you can use right here. You can just search for any word you want while reading a text. Then here, if you just want to have a separate translation, a separate like dictionary search, then you can use this one, and it will give you some more results, and then you can choose the one you like. It's sometimes a bit more helpful to have it in a separate tab. Here also there are advanced search. So for example, you didn't remember the correct spelling for some word. So let's say sukha, you didn't remember, was it sukha or was it sukha? So what you can do is activate, I'm just giving an example here, you can explore these by yourself. But the fuzzy search, for example, this is if you don't know the correct spelling, then it will give you all the results which have a similar spelling. So for example, it will give you sukha, sukha, different meanings, sukha, 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 all these different results. So this is sometimes helpful if you didn't remember the correct spelling of some word. Then what you have here is a English to Pali dictionary. So then you can search Pali words with an English. So coming from English, you can get the Pali words. Next thing is Atthagata terms. So if you wanted to have some definitions giving in the Atthagata. So for example, you want to know how did how did the Atthakatha define the Aruna? Then you can find in the Atthakatha here some kind of definition given in certain, here the reference. If you click on it, it will open here, and there you can get all these kind of definitions. It can be very helpful. To get some kind of definitions from the Atthakatha, especially like for Vinaya. Sometimes this can be helpful. So the same thing is also available for the Tika. Then title search, you can search suttas by title, because sometimes you don't know where is that sutta, and you cannot find it with the search, and then this one can help you. Metta Sutta, for example, it will give you all the different Metta Suttas. So this one, for example, is a different one, and then these ones are also another one, different one, and then this one here is the Karanyamata Gosvena, for example. Then another tool here, Pali Roots Dictionary. So any kind of Pali roots you can search, and you can get the definitions for the Pali roots. Then a Sanskrit dictionary also you can do on your own. Sanskrit roots, the same again. Sometimes these can be helpful. Okay, so let's move on. Let's have a look here. There is a Pali quiz. This is just it's quite fun for Pali learning. It's just a kind of a quiz, and then you can have test your Pali knowledge in different ways. Pali to English, English to Pali. Vocabulary, nouns. You have to give the declension for the verbs. You have to give the conjugation and so on, just to test your Pali knowledge. It can be nice for Pali study. Then here you can find the miscellaneous resources. So here Vante included a Pali grammar by Deloiselle, French. So if you wanted to look up some kind of Sandhi rules, then you can click on the Sandhi paragraph, and you will get all the rules for the Sandhi. Another one here, Pali cheat sheet. Here you have all the declension, verb endings, for example, or noun endings for the declension, and all kinds of other tables for personal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, relative pronouns, and so on. So you can have a look. There are many infos here. One thing you have to understand is this is written in Veltier's system. So TA.m. So this one I have also explained, I think, in another in the other explanation video. So for example here the Veltier system has been explained. So AA stands for long A, and the same for the other vowels. Then this one is special, so hyphens and N stands for the Nga. A wave and N stands for the Nya, and then the dots are just for below, so Tata Dada Na for the retroflex. La and Nikahita is like this. So if you see this, it means Ahang, Mang, Maya, so this is like a long A, and so on. So just for your understanding why this is written in this way, so this is like Veltier's system. Then here Pali compound sheet, if you wanted to know any rules or explanations of the compounds. Then here etc. Buddha Vachana's reader guide. This is a collection of quotes from the Buddha, categorized according to the different topics. So if you wanted to know like if you want to know some quote regarding a certain topic, let's say lazy, what did Buddha say about laziness, then you get here nice sutta, Uttana Sutta from Sutta Nipata, and then by clicking on go, it will bring you there right there, Uttana Sutta. So this can also be a nice tool for getting some good quotes from the Buddha. Next one, P, the abbreviations. So this is the abbreviations used in the Pali English dictionary by the PTS. So for example, if you are looking up some translation here, and then you don't know what is this, like you want to know the reference where this is used. So what is this DHA? So then you go here and you will see DH stands for Dhammapada, DHA stands for Dhammapada commentary, and so all these kind of abbreviations here, PVA, you can find the explanation of these here. Similar thing for the CPED, for the concise one. So in some cases there will be some abbreviations here. So this one, if it's not clear to you what that means, then you can see here adjective, NT stands for neuter gender, and yes. So then access to insight, this is also not necessary for you because we have already installed the archive here, so that would be probably easier to open it in its own website. Okay, so I think I've finished the explanation. If you have any other, if you know about any other features of this tool, of the Digital Pāḷi Reader, please let me know, so I can update this video if there are any kind of special functions that I didn't mention yet. And yes, so I also want to thank Bhante Siddhartha and Bhante Punyavanto for borrowing their devices on which I made this tutorial, and also Brother Park who lended his microphone for recording, and also Bhante Devananda who encouraged me to make these videos and help with the editing and uploading them. So yes, if anything in this tutorial was unclear, also please let me know in the comments, and yes, I hope this was helpful to you.